Welcome back. All right, so apparently this is a series. Now, what gives me a kick out of this is that after game two, everybody's like, all right, so Tampa's done. They're getting steamrolled. Now, I did the video yesterday on down 0-2, it feels different. And Tampa really played like a team that got beat 7-0 in their last game and wanted to prove, hey, you can't do it to us in our own rink. And for Colorado, a team that had not lost on the road in the playoffs, that's changed. So it was Kemper versus Vasilevsky in this game. Again, the Avs 7-0 on the road, 7 straight home wins for Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay without Braden Point. So totally understandable that people might have been a little bit concerned before the game if they're Bolts fans. There's a long shot from Kucherov that was saved. The rebound's cleared. It's important for Kucherov to get that early shot because he had no shots on net in game two. So Nichushkin has a net drive that's defended. Colton and Paul then both had chances that were saved. Good goaltending early on in this one. Sergachev has a shot that deflects out. Comfer couldn't bury one. The Bolts rushed the other way. The shots are 3-2 for Tampa at 4 minutes. Remember, they weren't getting shots in Denver. They were getting shots in Tampa. Avs score. Hagel immediately says it's offside. He was absolutely adamant that it was offside. And there was some delay in them deciding whether or not to challenge. So they did the review ends up taking about 5 minutes. The interesting thing was I thought that the camera that was facing the blue line, you could see clearly there was white ice there. So the puck, they tried to keep it from getting out of the zone. It does come out. So the play was offside. So yeah, no goal. And the funny thing was it looked like Tampa was kind of signaling they were going to challenge, and then they go to center ice like they're going to drop the puck, and Cooper's like, no, the whole bench was like, no, we're challenging. So Paul fires one wide then as the Bolts press. We get a power play for Tampa. Hedman has a shot that's saved. Palat nearly gets one. But there's a shorthanded rush for O'Connor. That was saved, and we get 41 seconds of 4-on-4. And then it's an Avs power play after that. Makar has a shot that's held, but on the next faceoff win, the Avs end up getting the goal. It's at 8:19. It's Landeskog on the power play from Rantanen and Makar. And Vasilevsky felt like he was interfered with on this goal, too. Tampa Bay doesn't challenge it. There's some question about when the contact with the goaltender takes place. I don't blame them for not challenging. I don't think that one would have come back. The Avs were 4 for 8 in the series with that face-off win. So it's one thing that Tampa Bay still needs to look at is their penalty kill. They've still been having problems killing penalties against the Colorado Avalanche. That was the 4 for 8. Bolts then press to answer. They go right back to the power play. Kucherov and Perry are denied. The Avs clear it out. Hedman, with a misplay, clears it out again by accident. Kucherov then had a shot that was saved. There's a shorthanded blast for Taves. That is saved. Now, right after the penalty ends, Tampa Bay gets a rush chance, and it goes in the net. It's Cirelli, and it's his first goal in a while. It's his second goal of the playoffs from Maroon at 13:03. That was the 10th shot of the game for Tampa. There were 7 for Colorado. So again, Tampa Bay is in control of the game at this stage. So Makar is a blast that's saved. The Avs press to answer it. Taves has a rush chance. That's kicked aside. And then Tampa Bay gets their first lead of the series. We're into game 3, right? Palat would score that one from Stamkos at 14:54. It was a one-timer. Great pass by Stamkos and in the back of the net. Manson then has a shot that's saved, and Paul gets shaken up. Looked like it was the ankle, might have been the knee, but he was shaken up, and he was a little shaky through the rest of the game. Although even shaky, he's still pretty darn good. Then there's a near miss and close for Landeskog. Lehkonen steals one, sets up the press by the Avs. Comfer has a shot that's held in the last minute. The Avs press again. Near miss by Taves in the closing seconds. But after the first period, it's 2-1 Tampa. And the crowd, pretty excited. So we're going to the second period. Paul was back to start the second period. Still having problems with his skating, but absolutely a warrior, fought through it. Kucherov has a wraparound that's held. And then at 1:26, off of that next faceoff, Colton gets it to Paul, and Paul buries it. So basically on one leg, clearly playing through pain, he buries it. And pretty impressive there. Cirelli fires one wide on a rush. Chernak then has a shot that's held. Killorn has a shot that's saved. It's all Tampa Bay at this point. There were 16 shots by Tampa Bay in the first 23 minutes of the game. That's what they had in the entire game in game 2. So, again, absolutely huge turnaround by Tampa, who are now up 3-1. Cirelli then fires one wide on a rush. Chernak has a shot that's held. I already read that part. So, we'll move on. Avs press. Hagel clears it out. Comfer is denied on a rebound. Makar has a chance that's saved. The Avs end up getting a power play. Rantanen has a net feed that's blocked, but Landeskog gets his second goal of the game, also on the power play, and he scores from Makar and Rantanen at 4:43. So now it's 3-2. But Tampa Bay, good at answering in this game. Cirelli has a rush chance that's defended. The Bolts press at 7 minutes, and eventually, on a good forecheck by Kucherov, they get the goal. It's Stamkos from Kucherov and Bogosian at 7:52. So that restores the 2-goal lead at 4-2. The Avs then press for an answer. Perry gets shaken up. The fans want a call. They don't get. We end up with 2 minutes of 4-on-4 after that, though, with the fracas that breaks out. The Avs control the first minute of the 4-on-4. Byram has a chance that's held. But then at 11:15, Tampa Bay increases their lead. It's Maroon from Kucherov and Hedman. He roofs it on a net drive, and that is the end of the night for Darcy Kemper. Pavel Francouz goes into the net. The Bolts keep looking for more. Vasilevsky holds a chance for Cogliano. Then there's a delay game call, and Tampa Bay gets a power play. And they score on it. So their power play finally gets on the board. It's Perry from Palat and Hedman at 14:58. He buried it. He was on the doorstep waiting for it. Puck goes through. Francouz doesn't go in, so he just buries it. The Avs then get a power play of their own. There's a near miss for Landeskog as he's going for the hat trick. Cirelli clears it out. The power play's killed off. 2 shots allowed. McKinnon has a rush chance. That saved. Things get punchy with 16.5 seconds left. Bogosian and Manson are chirping each other from the bench. Maroon can't resist a good chirping, so he gets involved. As a result of the punching that was going on, it is actually 4-on-4. So the 4-on-4 doesn't come from the chirping back and forth between the benches. But we're going to the third period. The score is 6-2 for Tampa. They had an interview with Barkley that was recorded between the periods. They showed it at the start of the third. Charles Barkley can be the color commentator for any hockey game ever, anywhere, in my opinion. He's great. Definitely flustered Kyle Bukauskas, telling him he's a good-looking guy and complimenting him on his hair. It was a good moment. So things get pushy after an early hold by Vasilevsky. Manson has a shot that's held. Colton fires one high. McKinnon's denied as the Avs press. Makar then has a shot that deflects out. Comfer with a rush chance that's held. Vasilevsky is dialed in at home, and it's almost as if Cooper said to his boys in between the periods, let's get Vasilevsky a bunch of saves in the third to bring up his save percentage. So they obliged. So shots are 5-0 for Colorado 5 minutes in. Again, Colorado definitely with the advantage, but they're down by 4. Hagel has a rush chance that's defended. Lehkonen then with a cross-crease pass that's held by Vasilevsky before getting to the target. McKinnon has a shot that deflects out. Byram has a shot that's saved. Lots of saves by Vasilevsky at this point. Newhook has a drive to the net. That's defended. Bogosian with a point shot. That's held. The first shot for Tampa Bay came at the 9:46 mark of the third period. So this is what I was talking about after game 2. It's like, wow, Colorado just keeps pouring on. Tampa didn't. Tampa absolutely, they pulled back. They conserved their energy in the third period. And yet they're dealing with injuries coming out of this game. We'll see how that turns out. So I just haven't got to that point yet. Things get pushy after a strong forecheck by Perry. The Bolts come out of that with a power play. I was surprised because Perry threw a pretty good slash during that. I was surprised he didn't go to the box. Hedman and Perry are both denied during that. Then we get 26 seconds of 5-on-3. Kucherov has a blast that deflects out, but Kucherov exits. He actually took a hit from Taves. Taves went to the box. That caused the 5-on-3. And Kucherov tried to play, and there was no way. So he left the game, did not return. In the event that Nikita Kucherov is hurt and unable to play game 4, you have to think that would be a huge loss for Tampa. Absorbing the loss of Braden Point's one thing, but Point and Kucherov, that is huge if that in fact becomes the case. So there's a shorthanded 3-on-2 that's defended. This is where it's back to 5-on-4. Then there's too many Tampa Bay Lightning players on the ice, which makes it a 4-on-4. So Colorado, sensing they need something, they pull Francouz. They make it a 5-on-4. It would become a 6-on-4. Landeskog has a tip that's saved. McKinnon has a rush chance. That's kicked aside. Landeskog blasts one high. The puck goes around and comes out. Killorn with an empty net goal opportunity that was blocked. So Killorn still without a goal in the playoffs. I'm rooting for him. He's got to get something. That power play's killed off. Francouz goes back in the net. Understandable. You're not getting 4 goals in the final few minutes. Cogliano and Maroon are unfriendly. And then O'Connor had a fight with Colton. So they dropped the gloves there. The Bolts come out of all that with a power play. There was a post for Hedman. That was the best opportunity for Tampa. That power play's killed off, and things get kind of pushy at the horn. So your final score is 6-2 for the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's 8 in a row that they've won at home. Now for Colorado, they've got their first loss on the road. And so the whole storyline has changed now, hasn't it? There is no... there's nothing in between games to tell you there's any momentum going into the next one. Although people will argue Tampa Bay's rolling now, Colorado's done, in the same vein that people after Game 2 said, well, Colorado destroyed them, so this series is going to be all Avs. They're going to sweep it. Nope. 3 stars are Paul, Vasilevsky, and Hedman for me. These are my 3 stars. I gave it to Nick Paul first star because he got the game-winning goal on one leg. Vasilevsky made a whole bunch of great saves when it was early on in this one, and Hedman ends up being a +3 in tonight's game. So it's a matter of the 3 stars weren't updated on the app, and I got tired of waiting, so here we are. The shots in this one, 14-12 Colorado in the first, 14-13 Tampa in the second, 12-6 Colorado in the third. They did outshoot Tampa 39-32. Power plays, Colorado 2 for 4, Tampa Bay 1 for 7, so the power plays still favor Colorado in this series. The hits, 40-27 for Tampa, so we saw about 40 less hits in this game, well, 35 less hits than we saw in the last game. Block shots, 27-12 for Tampa. So they really upped their block shot game. And Colorado just didn't block as many shots as they did in the first couple of games. Darcy Kemper, 17 saves on 22 shots. That save percentage was above 900 for one game. And in the name of Martin Jones, it's back down below 900. Francouz, 9 saves on 10 shots for him. Vasilevsky, 37 saves on 39 shots. The storyline coming out of this is going to be simple. How bad is the injury to Kucherov that he left the game and didn't return? Do the Avs look to start Francouz in the next game? I don't think so, because I don't know how many of these goals I would actually put on Darcy Kemper. I think this was just Tampa Bay having a great game plan. And again, in these playoffs, it feels like having last change, getting the matchups you want by being the home team has made a huge difference. And so now we're seeing a Stanley Cup final where the home teams won the first 3 games. I don't see any reason why that would necessarily change in Game 4. But again, if they don't have Kucherov and Point, it's really straining their level of depth. And for Tampa, they're used to overcoming that kind of thing. That's how you win back-to-back cups. So we'll see if it happens again. But again, I thought, and I understand Landeskog might have got a 3rd star, but Hedman I thought had a much better game, and he's a +3. But when you have those last changes, you can get those players away from the guys that were really taking apart the Lightning, I should say, in the first 2 games. And now we've seen the Avalanche get taken apart in the 3rd game. I'm not wearing the No Mercy jacket, the Cobra Kai jacket, because the goal difference was 4. It has to be 5 or more. So if anybody's going to say, well, he's not wearing the Cobra Kai jacket, so clearly he's anti-Tampa. It was not a game that reached that threshold of a 5-goal difference or higher. I was keeping an eye on it because I was like, if it hits 7-2, I have to put that jacket on again just to be fair. But there you go. Let me know your thoughts about this game in the comments section below as always. Do Tampa roll now, or is this just the home team wins every game? We'll see what happens in Game 7. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support from myself, as well as from Azriel there. Yeah, Azriel right there in the video, just sleeping. Shadow was there, and then she put him out. Anyways, thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.